What's up, everyone? We hope you all had a safe and happy 4th. I have to say, for us here in the US, on top of fireworks and barbecue, it's been a full week of holiday bonuses with the release of Spider-Man Far From Home, Stranger Things Season 3 dropping on Netflix, and the return of Young Justice Season 3 on the DC Universe streaming service. That's just a solid week of geeky goodness right there. With that in mind, DC is releasing the second half of Young Justice Season 3 just like the first half, meaning they're releasing 3 episodes every week until the finale, which is kind of a unique way to do it because it gives you mini binge sessions, but still leaves you wanting more. Anyway, since most of us consider Young Justice to be one of the best comic book cartoon series of all time, today we decided to take a look at one of the main characters from the series, and that would be Connor Kent, Superboy. He's easily one of the best characters in the show, so let's check out his comic book origin. Connor Kent, Superboy first appeared in Adventures of Superman issue 500 in June of '93. He was created by Carl Kessel and Tom Grummett. He's a product of the Reign of the Supermen storyline, appearing alongside other Superman-themed characters like Eradicator, Steel, and Cyborg Superman. But if you haven't read that storyline, which if you're a Superman fan, I really think you should because it deals with the fallout of Superman's death. You could also check out the 2-part Reign of the Supermen animated movie. It's pretty dope. Anyway, Superboy, let's talk about him. For the most part, the Young Justice series kept Connor Kent's origin the same as the comics, at least the basic principles and foundation of it. After Death of Superman in Superman Volume 2, Issue 75, we got the Reign of the Supermen storyline, as I just mentioned. But of course, the DC Universe couldn't be without a Superman, so the Reign of the Supermen storyline dealt with 4 different Superman-themed characters fighting for that role, one of them being Superboy. Which, by the way, he hates being called Superboy. It's pretty funny. Now, even though he first appeared in the Adventures of Superman issue 500, we wouldn't get his origin till later on. We would find out that after Superman was killed by Doomsday, his body was stolen by genetic engineers who worked for Project Cadmus. If you watch the Young Justice or even the Justice League Unlimited series, you're very familiar with Cadmus. Now, some of you might be asking, why the heck did they steal Superman's body? Well, one, you probably haven't been reading comics for a very long time, which isn't an insult, it's just an observation. And 2, I'm sure there's many reasons scientists would want to steal Superman's body. But Cadmus's reasons was they wanted to clone Superman. Now, their intentions weren't necessarily all bad, they just thought that the world needed a Superman to fight for truth, justice, and the American way. Now, even though Cadmus had success with cloning in the past, they're like, if we could clone Superman, that's gonna be our iPhone, our claim to fame. Regardless, Cadmus was ultimately able to clone Superman. They didn't get it right on their first try, so Superboy is actually their 13th attempt. And even though he was quote unquote a successful clone of Superman, he really wasn't, because he wasn't a clone of Superman at first. He was actually the clone of human Paul Westfield, the director of Cadmus. Dun dun dun! So they just made him look like Superman and then tacked on some Superman-like powers. So he's mostly human with some genetic tampering to make him look like Supes and give him some powers, like the ability to fly and have super strength, but he was missing the heat vision, x-ray vision, and pretty much any power that deals with your eyeballs. Anyway, during the cloning process, Cadmus planned on adding a few precautions to this new Superman so that he could be controlled by them when needed. Basically, a failsafe. But before said failsafe could be implanted and before the clone was even fully matured, he was broken out by a group of young kids called the Newsboy Legion, who are a group of identical clones, or at least they were post-crisis, but they sound like a boy band. Anyway, they broke him out, gave him his iconic 90s leather jacket, and said, "Good luck, Superboy," to which he said, "Hey, don't ever call me Superboy. The name's Superman." Even though he looked like a teenager because he was broken out before he fully matured, he still wanted to be called Superman. He even tried to get the world to call him that, but it never caught on, so he begrudgingly took the name Superboy. Anyway, many years later, towards the end of the '98 Young Justice comic, Superboy's origin would start to be retconned. He found out that his creation and origin was a bit of a lie, because suddenly all those powers he didn't have for years, like heat vision and x-ray vision, started to work. So when Jeff Johns got a hold of the character in 2003 in the Teen Titans series, he made it so that Superboy was indeed a half-clone of Superman. The kicker is, the other half of his DNA is Lex Luthor's. Bum, bum, bum. So not only did his costume change with his now famous blue jeans and black shirt with a red Superman symbol on it, but he was now a half-clone of Superman and Lex Luthor. That's just crazy awesome. After that, you have the New 52 Superboy, which I wasn't a big fan of, and more recently, however, we have Connor Kent in the Young Justice comic by Brian Michael Bendis, which seems to be bringing back the Superboy we love from the pre-New 52 era. Plus, I'm always down for a Young Justice comic. As far as powers and abilities go, he pretty much has all the same abilities that Superman has, like superhuman strength, flight, invulnerability, speed, hearing, vision, stamina, breath, and all that good stuff. But Superboy has also been shown to have telekinetic powers. For example, by touching something, Superboy was able to cause an object he was touching to fall into pieces. This is called telekinetic disassemble. He also has telekinetic blast. Using that ability, Superboy was able to shoot powerful blasts of raw psionic energy. Altogether, he's definitely a heavy hitter when it comes to superheroes in the DC universe. As for reading recommendations, check out The Adventures of Superman issue 500, The Reign of the Superman storyline, the 2009 Adventure comic series, and Jeff Johns' Teen Titans run. But all that, friends, is going to bring today's episode to a close. But as always, remember you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Links for those are in the description as always. But I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to talk about all things comics.